In view of an impending gas shortage, the EU Commission is working on energy-saving measures. A draft paints a bleak picture for the future. So, in view of the impending gas crisis, the economy and consumers could face significant energy-saving measures. A draft for an emergency plan by the European Commission provides that public buildings, offices, and commercial buildings should be heated to a maximum of 19 degrees Celsius from autumn. Acting now can reduce the effects of a sudden supply disruption by a third, says the text which is available to the German press agency. There is now a considerable risk that Russia will stop gas deliveries to Europe this year. Well, companies that can replace gas should reduce their consumption, they say. The aim is here to protect industries that are particularly important for supply chains and, of course, competitiveness. Households are encouraged to voluntarily consume less. Anyone can save gas now, writes the Commission. Existing rules stipulate that households and hospitals, for example, would be prioritized in the event of a gas shortage. However, if electricity production is in jeopardy, countries could put the supply of gas-fired power plants, who are there for electricity supply, through certain protected consumers, or put them first. The plan is subject to change and is expected to be officially presented next Wednesday. According to the text, simulations by the regulatory authority ENTSO-G have shown that a delivery stop in July would mean that the gas storage facilities could not be sufficiently filled and that there could still be shortages in winter and next year. If there were a disruption in October or later, there would be fewer risks to winter demand, but then they would have less time to react. The impact for member states will depend on how dependent they are on Russian gas, it said. Germany, where I'm sitting here, is one of the most affected countries. According to the Commission, gas supplies from Russia have already drastically reduced. Overall, the gas flows are now less than 30% of the average for 2016 to 2021, according to the draft. This has led to historically high energy prices and fueled inflation. There is no indication that the situation will improve. It's more likely to get worse. Consumers will soon feel the looming gas shortage severely. The German Federal Network Agency expects immense price increases in the coming year. The president of the German Federal Network Agency, Klaus Müller, has warned that gas prices for consumers could triple or rise even more. For those who are now getting their heating bills, the deductions are already doubling. And the consequences of the Ukraine war are not even taken into account, said Müller to the newspapers of the editorial network Germany. From 2023, gas consumers will have to prepare for the discounts to triple at least. Well, my last bill wasn't that high for last year, but we'll see. It's absolutely realistic that consumers who currently pay 1,500 euros a year for gas will pay 4,500 euros and more in the future, said Müller. Prices on the stock exchanges have increased sevenfold in some cases. Consumers don't get it all immediately and not in full, but at some point it has to be paid for. People now have to make provisions, both technically and financially, the head of the network agency warned. He said, I have two messages. First, increase your deduction voluntarily or put some money aside every month, for example, in a special account. And second, talk to your landlord or tradesman if he is still available. What can you do to turn off the heating optimizer or to optimize the heating? About half of the gas boilers in Germany are not well adjusted, said Müller. With a little effort, a big saving effect can be achieved. Müller also rejected fears that private households could be supplied with lower priority in the event of a gas shortage. The German and the European legal situation provides for private households to be protected to the end, said Müller. He considers a scenario in which no more gas reaches people's homes to be not very likely. And even in the worst scenario, Germany will continue to get gas from Norway and from terminals in Belgium or the Netherlands, soon also directly from terminals on the German coast, but that is from next year, I say. Gas could not only be expensive, but also scarce. Private individuals can now make provisions to get through the coming winter well. Cooking oil and toilet paper are now back here. We had problems with that. And now electric heaters, camping stoves, and firewood are missing. But is that hysteria, or is it wise to brace yourself for hard times? If the economics minister is already talking about preparing for the worst, private individuals should also think about how they will get through the winter. In principle, that means even without a crisis in front of you, consumer associations and the Federal Office for Disaster Management advise storing supplies for about 10 days at home. That's 20 liters of water per person plus non-perishable food. It also includes food that don't need to be cooked, such as nuts and muesli, special cereals. In addition, candles, batteries, and a radio that does not depend on electricity would be there too. And that's also sensible if there's no impending energy crisis. But what's wise if you're worried about heating? Because there has been no gas through the Nord Stream 1 pipeline since the beginning of the week. Gas and other heating energies have skyrocketed in price, and there's a speculative exaggeration in the prices. Should gas be delivered again at the end of the month, prices are likely to fall again, including for replacement products such as briquettes, firewood, fan heaters, hot plates, and gas bottles. If you have strong nerves or a lot of trust, you can simply wait and do nothing at all for a month now. But even if no more gas comes from Russia, there is no need to panic. At the moment, more gas is being stored in the storage facilities here in Germany than is being used. Imports from other countries have got off to a good start and are still growing. This will affect prices in the medium term, as will the savings effect. Industry, power generators, and private individuals used 15% less gas this year than in the previous year because there was a mild winter, high prices, and the gas crisis. They all had an effect. However, no one can rule out that natural gas will become so scarce in January that private consumers will also suffer. After all, reliable gas supply not only depends on whether enough natural gas is supplied. The pressure in the line also plays a role. In Bavaria and Baden-Württemberg, the situation could become serious more quickly than, for example, in northern or here in western Germany, where liquid gas is to be landed in the future, and there are pipelines from Norway and the Netherlands. Modern heaters switch off automatically when the gas pressure fluctuates. Then you have to be able to bridge a few days until the installer had some time to put the heating system back into operation. Normally, that's not a problem. If the winter is mild and the temperatures stay above freezing, at least during the day, well, you just can dress warmly. However, there is no damage to the house or apartment itself. It's different in a cold winter with severe permafrost. Then a week or two is enough to let houses cool down so much that water pipes and radiators can freeze and burst. Therefore, landlords, house and apartment owners should ensure that they can at least keep the supply lines frost-free in an emergency. Fan heaters and radiators may not be efficient, but they can last a few days in an emergency, because it is less likely that the power supply or the petrol for the car will fail permanently. The same applies to mobile heaters that run on gas. However, storing gas bottles for cooking, grilling, or heating is a bit more complicated and probably not necessary. That's what the German LPG Association says. There is enough there. The suppliers are in the West. Natural gas is not pressed into bottles there, but a waste product from petrol and diesel production, which mainly takes place in refineries in Europe. However, because gas cylinders are constantly being refilled, there could be a bottleneck if many people buy gas in advance. Some vacationists and professional grill masters are already complaining about shortages. There are also restrictions for safety reasons. Only up to 2 gas bottles are allowed, which should not be kept together, and if possible, not in residential buildings, and under no circumstances in the basement. In the end, the preventive care may not have been necessary at all. In a few weeks, you might ask yourself whether it would not have been better to invest in a mobile air conditioner. But Behavioral psychologists also have a piece of wisdom for this case. Stocking up for emergencies helps some people in situations that they cannot control themselves. They feel better, at least in the short term. As I already quickly mentioned, the prices for gas for heating here where I'm living, my last bill was a bit higher than usual. Normally I got money back. This time I had to pay a little bit, but it wasn't that much, although the gas prices already rose last year and most I was heating was in last year, not this year. So I expect it not to be that bad because of obviously of the contracts that might be here from with my landlord. Um, but I can say you might know that I have a main channel on British politics. What I can say is that I'm really glad to live in the EU at the moment because looking at the situation in the UK, I'm reporting every day as well. It looks much worse there. And in here in Germany, where I live, we anyway have a far better social security system than they have over there. So poorer people will not suffer as badly. And I still have the hope that the bill I get next year will not be as catastrophic as some people expect. But I don't want to imagine how this would be in certain other countries where the problems are now already much bigger than here. And I really feel with the people under this pressure. And I'll definitely keep you posted on it. But I wanted to bring you not only the EU plans now, but also the view from Germany at the moment, what our official institutions are saying on the topic. I'll see you in my next video. Schau vorbei.